Good evening and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV, your hub for everything politics, policy and governance. I am Shafi'u Suleiman. Tonight, we start from Kano, a politically vibrant state in Nigeria's political arrangement, where two governorship aspirants of the PDP in the last election, Sadiq Wali and Ali Amin Little, forged an alliance to rescue the party, which suffers defeat at the 2023 polls due to internal wrangling. The two Kano political bigwigs say the gang-up is necessary to chase the newly elected PDP state executive, whose emergence, they say, did not follow the party guidelines and procedure. Could this revive the opposition party struggling to stay afloat in state run by the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP? Is the alliance sustainable going by the events in the build-up to the 2023 election that put the party on the edge? Joining us to put the issues in context is a former two-term Kano State PDP chairman, Senator Aljibrin Dogwa. He joins us via Zoom from Kano. Thank you for joining. We will also be, in the course of the conversations, take a look at the statement made by the Minister of Police Affairs, Ibrahim Gaidam, alluding to the lack of synergy among Nigeria's security agencies, which prevents them from effectively sharing intelligence that would help in dealing with the current security challenges in the country. Now, to help us understand this, we have a policy analyst, Hakeem Akintayo, in the studio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Shafi'u.
Right, okay. While we await Senator Dogwa to join the conversation, perhaps maybe we'll start with this one. I'm starting particularly with also the latest one, since we are talking security. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was said to have appointed Major General Olufemi Olatubosun Oluide as acting Chief of Army Staff. This is the very latest, in terms of the security issues in the country. First of all, Hakeem, I would like to get your reaction to this appointment. It's coming at a time there has been a lot of apprehension concerning the health status of the immediate past Chief of Army Staff.
Well, I think it's a good development, knowing that recent past, let's just few weeks and months, there have been recent gains from the military against the bandit and insurgencies here, and the encroachment of the non-state actors against the national security of the country. So you can see some of the insurgent elements, have been eliminated, neutralized. So I think it would not be a good thing to leave vacuum, in the security architecture. So unfortunately, we had a very good former Chief of Army Staff that seems to be doing a yeoman's job, and seems to be really focused, and not allowing himself to be distracted with politics, like it was in the past. Unfortunately, the health situation came, and we wish him the best. But like I said, the president had to take. He's the commander-in-chief, and I'm sure he wouldn't allow the gains to be rolled back. So there has to be, the vacuum has to be filled up, and I'm sure
there has been back and forth, from the military authorities that there is no vacuum and all of that. That things are moving on smoothly.
Yeah, well, you see, they always give us the impression that things are going well, but in the military, especially, you can't toy with architectures within the military circles. I'm sure that's why the CNC feels there is need to make sure they cement that area, and so that there will not be doubt and also sort of breached in the chain of command. So I think the president acts in the national interest, and also to consolidate on the the achievement they are achieving so far. Because you come to look at it, there have been so much outcry about food insecurity, and most of the these challenges are caused by insurgents,
right?
And also
okay, I understand we have to take a break. Okay. You hold the thoughts when we return. Sir. Yes, viewers, we have to take a short break here. In case you're just joining us, the program is Daily Politics. Thank you very much for staying with us on Daily Politics. And back in the studio, I have Hakeem Akintayo, talking about the current development in the security architecture, the change of guard, so to speak, the new appointment of an acting chief of army staff. Yes, you're making a point concerning the need to, fill the gap, so that looking at the security situation in the country.
Yeah, like I was saying, one of the most challenging things that is bothering Nigeria as we speak is inflation. Food inflation, scarcity of agro products and all that. And if you look at the whole scenario as a whole, that most of our farmers have been chased away from their farms, due to insecurity. It has never been so bad, in Nigeria for a long time, but now that the security architecture seems to be up and doing, I think it's right that a round peg is put in a round hole to make sure these gains that we are having, because our people need to eat. Yeah. And if our people don't go back to farm, how do we get the food to the market? How do we get, reduce inflation? It is when we have more supply in the market that the price of item might drop. The issue of demand and supply is there. But when there is lack of supply, when there is shortage of commodity in the market, and there have been shortages everywhere. It's like you rightly know, most of our farmers, when they go to farm, they kidnap and all that and pay ransom. Though it's not something that is palatable. So
when you talk about non-state actors chasing farmers, it also reminds me of the fact that they are also gradually taking over some critical assets. Now, take for instance what happened just recently. Bandits, or terrorists, if you like, were said to have been making attempts to take over the Shiroro Dam, as strategic as it is, supplying power to the northern states. Now, several attempts by them, according to locals, to take over that very important action. So beyond even chasing farmers, these non-state actors are emboldened to take certain key strategic assets. Okay, we're coming back to our main topic, looking at intelligence sharing, and of course, the concerns around lack of synergy among security agencies. This is something that has been a recurring, issue. Government after government, you find this lack of synergy among security agencies. The previous administration had it so bad. At some point, the NSA and the Chief of Army Staff also were at loggerhead, and so on and so forth. That, many said, has significantly affected the fight against this level of insecurity in the country. So what do you make up with the recent statement by the Police Affairs Minister, who said he has discovered that there is no collaboration or very minimal collaboration among security agencies? It's
a very appalling situation, my brother. Thank God he was there before, and he's coming back to the government again. I'm sure maybe he must have experienced this, and maybe hopefully he will make some corrections by the time he gets into the office. I know it's a recurring decima, something that has been hampering our, the synergy, the unity of purpose that ought to be within the security agencies. It's not only in Nigeria, all over the world, and sometimes you see terrorists and non-state actors, the enemies of the state, they use this perceived rivalry and competition against each other, to penetrate the system and maybe do their worst, as you were trying to describe with the Shiroro. These people know that I'm sure maybe they are tired of, kidnapping people, or
they've already
striking.
exhausted the local economy of those victims. The market. I mean, the farmers
honestly,
don't have
because there's no money.
Even the pastoralists.
Yeah.
I mean, those they've roasted the cows and all of it. So perhaps the economy has been completely exhausted. So they're looking for alternatives.
And maybe that's where they are maybe looking at this national asset, that maybe their luck comes to fusion, and they succeed as they were able to succeed in the transmission lines. So maybe there were people, the attention of the government will come on them, and maybe they will be able to negotiate. Well, me, I'm always at the point, or less at a view of using carrot and stick, to solve these security issues. We cannot always use stick all the time. I'm of the opinion that these people are human beings. There are people that these people listen to.
But a lot of people will tell you that the carrot and stick approach is not working. A number of state governments have adopted that. At some point, Zamfara adopted that. At some point, Katsina did so. But it didn't yield the results.
The thing is that when you mix it up with politics and personal interests, it can never work. But when you approach this thing with the interests of the people at heart, with the patriotic mindset that, look, you want to solve this problem once and for all. Like I said, these people, they are even afraid of death too. That's why you see they call them insurgents. Insurgents are people that will strike and disappear.
Yeah, in a gorilla kind of.
How do they say it in the military? So they can't face the army. They can't face the security agencies. Maybe
the
one-on-one.
You're talking about ambush.
Yes. Thank you. So these people, they are afraid of this. So, and there are people that these people listen to. Either we have families, religious leaders. I'm of the opinion that there are ways we can genuinely reach out to these people. Look at what happened years back. I think, was it 2009? After President Obasanjo left office. He was able to go to the domain of Boko Haram, a leader. Before he was killed. Yeah. And he had a conversation with him.
I think it was facilitated by a former senator or so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are people that these people listen to. So I would have said that, look, when you have people that, these people seems to respect, why not exploit? But we have a situation where whether within the military circle or the police, most likely the police circle, there's this envy, there's this, why should it be this one that is doing it? Why not me? And if, of course, you remember that time, President Obasanjo, who had left office, was not in good terms with the President Jonathan then. So you see, that's interest of collaborating with the President Obasanjo to reach out to this and solve this problem, once and for all, was not there, and we missed that opportunity. And these people went full blast,
right, okay.
And felt maybe the state is against them.
Still talking about synergy, your last statements, reignite the conversation now along this line of rivalry, and of course wanting to outshine each other. The security agencies, in most cases you find out that they're holding information, so to speak, allegedly holding information in order to beat their other but then what is the responsibility of the Office of the National Security Advisor? Fundamentally, some say the role there is to bring together the security agencies, so that they can collaborate effectively for service delivery. Is it a failure on the part of the NSA? Because we talked about what happened in the previous administration, and there's, the NSA and the Chief Army Staff are at loggerheads.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. I'm sure that's why maybe they couldn't really do much. They did well in terms of equipping the military. The last administration did very, very well, but in terms of maybe the final
forging that collaboration,
exactly, the final onslaught or the final ramification for the success of eliminating insurgency, I think they became luxury, and they became a bit, working against
the point
interests
of delivery. There is
exactly. So the point now is, I am of the view that this current NSA. In fact, if you ask me, even people who are not really from the traditional military circles seems to do more than the people who were in the military circle. Just to look at the current NSA, he was a retired police officer, and we've had retired generals as NSA. What was the difference? You could see right now that in a way there seems to be coordination. Everybody needs.
Even though we're still having pockets of,
there will always be
confrontations and so on. The recent one that happened in, I can't remember the state now precisely, where there were shootouts, so to speak, among sister agencies. And then take a look at also what happened during the when operatives working with the EFCC, went to arrest a former governor, an immediate past governor, and there were confrontations, including shootouts. Yeah, I'm talking about Bello, for instance. Yeah. So there were shootouts among the security agencies, the DSS operatives and the police attached to the convoy and all of that. This has been a recurring decimal too. Where do you place the problem? Because if there are deterrents, if there is a deterrence and people are meant to face, are meant to account for their deeds, maybe this will not continue.
It's very unfortunate that our security personnel and agency seems to embarrass themselves, and the one that happened with this Yahya Bello, His Excellency, it's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I would have preferred or maybe expected a situation where there would have been communication before even the eventual operation. But I believed the president might have been embarrassed, and the NSA maybe have taken note of what has happened, and maybe that's the reason why we're having a little bit of systematic approach to make sure they deal with the matter through the court process, because I think there was not really a court order. If you ask me, there was not really a clear order from the court for the arrest. They were just back and forth, different courts from the state and all that. But now that we are having the EFCC even going through the court to get either warrant of arrest, both absentia and all that, I think it's a good thing. You see, our leaders too should not make themselves an example, to embarrass the country. So because I felt, a former governor, there's no how people will not ask you questions after you leave office.
Of course, many others have been questioned. Some even prosecuted. Some even, some even indicted, so to speak. And they face jail terms.
It's a bailable offense. So why should you make yourself dramatic, for Nigerians to be entertained? It doesn't really. For me, it's a letdown from that office of the former governor. You don't have to make yourself an entertainer. Make yourself available.
Yeah, but still talking about intelligence sharing, some will wonder how all of this hide and seek is happening when there are security agencies attached to some of these politicians, the politically exposed persons. So you discover that the same person who is declared wanted has a retinue of operatives, perhaps shielding him or guiding him and all of that. How does this happen, when...
Well, from what we have garnered, about the issue is that it seems the former governor is being protected by the current governor. And, the current governor has an immunity. So, and for me, I think it's really... very disappointing, for a governor to be shielding anybody. You don't have to do that. Then what message are we passing to Nigerians, especially the young one coming up?
But what does it say also to the authorities? Because this same operatives are under, either the police the Inspector General of Police or under the chief.
You know, you see, it's one of the common things you see among Nigerians, whether in the military circle or whatever, in the security circle, is that they seems to compromise their calling or their service. You know, dancing to the tune of a politician or a political figurehead. And it's really, really, really appalling to see such happen. It has always been like that. And I would have preferred, or, you know, imagine a military officer or security officer either attached to the EFCC or police to pledge allegiance to the country, to the rule of law, not to an individual. For God's sake, even the former President Trump is under investigation. And even sometimes some of us that have the privilege of watching the proceedings in the court, you see policemen, the local policemen are standing in between the former president in case he's pronounced guilty. The next thing is to transfer him to the prison. So why should our own be different? And we are trying to copy advanced democracy like United States. So nobody should be shielding each other. It's a desecration of our democracy, right. and of course the rule of law.
Yeah. Now, looking at still talking about the framework, so to speak, or the enabling environment for these operatives or agencies to collaborate. Central focus is perhaps the office of the NSA, and I understand there is also mechanisms put in place for interagency kind of collaboration. At some point, I covered a particular meeting where all, you know, spokespersons of all the agencies meet. You know, I don't know whether it is quarterly or monthly or so, to dissect and of course to digest some of these issues and then share intelligence. But in spite of most of these platforms, you discover that there are still gaps in effective intelligence sharing. That's one aspect. The other aspect is also counterintelligence, issues. Sometimes you find out that non-state actors are even in position of intelligence that ordinarily shouldn't be leaked out. But you find out that it is leaked out to these non-state actors, and then it hampers even the operation in most cases. You find out that, you know, an operation is about to take place, and then the bandits, you know, the insurgents leave the stage or leave the space because they've had information from, you know, within the security cycle.
It's a worrisome situation because, like I told you, our Nigerian orientation of nowadays, tends to tweak towards personal gain, and myopic, interest to circumvent the states, and circumvent the country instead of being patriotic. And I think that has to also, linked to the present orientation level we're having about this country, because everybody seems to work against the country, whether at the political level, even at the civil service level.
So there's absence of patriotism.
Serious absence of patriotism, because like you said, there have been so many examples of what you narrated. Just take an example of the Binance executives that were arrested. Yes. Before you know it, one thing led to the other. People within the system circumvented, the arrest and the prosecution, and the man escaped. It's so funny.
Even though some say
funny.
It might be a work of diplomatic kind of engagement or so.
But you see, even if like we just heard recently from the presidency that this one was direct from the president of the United States to our own president. That one everybody understands. But the one that you just circumvent the whole process of prosecution of alleged criminal case.
And in many instances, it also affects, in talking about the counterinsurgency measures, when you find out that within the security sector, information is leaked as to who provide certain information to the security agencies in terms, So what happened is that people are even afraid of giving information to the security agencies because, in most cases, it turns out to be against them because those non-state actors get information and then, in return, they also attack those who have provided such information.
You see, that's the reason why a lot of Nigerians, shy away, stay away from helping sharing information and also helping the security, authorities to either solve our insecurity or to confront our security challenges. Because people are seen as suspects, even when you want to help, and so. Even people who are patriotic, feel so weak or feel discouraged to do so. Yeah. And like I said, our value system needs to be looked into. Yeah. Value system from our homes to our school, how to, everybody should have this sense of, loving this country as our own property. Because it is a lack of it that, it's making people to sabotage the system that we have been witnessing so far, and I will continue to go around in circles. Right. If we don't, have this collective interest to solve our problems, we keep blaming people for a problem that we can all solve, either by providing information or by doing your job as a security officer, by laying your life for this country. People in other countries do that. That's why they are developing. Yeah.
But so that collaboration is key.
It's very, very key between the civilian and the military.
Thank you very much, Hakeem Akintayo, Policy Affairs Analyst. It's about time we take another break, and when we return, we look at the Kano politics, where two bigwigs in the PDP, precisely former governorship aspirants in the last election, came together, as they said, to rescue the party, and chase out, the current executive in the state that emerged just a couple of days ago. So we'll get to hear much of that and what is going on in the Kano politics when we return from this break. And we have on the standby the former chairman, state chairman of the PDP in Kano State, talking about Senator El Jibrin Dogwa. We'll take a break. When we return, our conversation continues. Stay with us.